Tell me how to think. Lay me on your riverbed tonight. Oh, and take my body. Oh, just take my body. Oh, and take my body.
Hi, welcome to Dean's Destination. This is episode 5. In this episode, I'm going to be giving you a full van tour. I'm going to show you around the outside and I'm going to show you around the inside. I'll show you everything that I've got in the back that makes it a van conversion and how much it cost me. I'll do a running total so that you guys can see. Now, some of these things didn't cost me anything because I had them laying around. Some of them I've had to buy, but it's all cheap stuff. So I'll keep a running total, show you guys how much it costs you, so that if you want to do the same, get out on the road, do some travelling, bit of stealth camping, whatever it is you want to do, if you want to use any of these ideas, you're welcome to use them and get out there. I also want to take the opportunity just to thank anybody that's subscribed in this last week. In the last week I've gained 10 more subscribers, so I'm at 31 I think now, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's like 30% of what I didn't have before, so it's a big increase for me in this last week. So thank you to you if you subscribed, and also if you were already previously subscribed, keep watching, keep liking the videos. I've got a Facebook page now as well called Dean's Destination. I'm hosting polls on there, you know, to see where people want me to go, and so I can steer the channel in the right direction that makes it as entertaining as possible for you watching at home or on the go, wherever you might be, at TV or looking on your phone, whatever it might be. So when we've had a look around, I'll tell you where I'm going next. Also, to let you know, the weather has been absolutely atrocious this weekend, and as I'm speaking right now, it's raining. This affected really what I can do, where I can go, where I can take the dogs, the things I might be able to do because the weather's so bad. But this weekend, I did say that I would visit my brother. He's hiring a static caravan this weekend, where he's stopping with his fiancée and his son. So I'm going to go and pay them a visit, have a few drinks with them, have a lovely evening, and then I'm going to retire back to the van where I'm going to get my head down for the night. Tomorrow we'll probably do some arcades and things and, you know, see what's around Skegness when the weather's this bad. Probably not a lot, but we'll see. I'm sure we'll have fun anyway, and you get to see what I'm doing tonight and through the day tomorrow. So now, it's on to the van.
Tell me how to think. Lay me on your riverbed tonight. There'll be chasing after us. I can't remember where you said it was. Are we different or are we the same? Are we different or are we fair game? Oh, and take my body. Oh, just take my body. Oh, and take my body.
So without any further ado, let's get into it then. So this is my van. It's small. It's VW Caddy. So the space in here, it's, to be honest, for me, I'm 6'2" and I can't actually lay down in the back, but there is a trick because I've removed half of the bulkhead. As you can see, it means that I can pull the seat forward, and then I've got that little bit extra leg room down at the bottom, and also this storage behind these, but I'll get onto that in a moment. What have I got in the back of here then that makes this van conversion? Basically, I've got everything I need to be able to stop overnight, probably even for a week if I buy the supplies that I need. So let's give you a bit of a rundown as to how I've got it set up and how it works for me and how it could potentially work for you. So this is basically my main pod. Everything that I need is either in here or it's used on here, and this is what makes my van a camper van basically. So this is a cooler. It's not electric, it basically just works by keeping things insulated. So if you put something cold in there with your things, it will make your things cold as well, and it'll trap that cold in it. Now I already had this, I've had this a long time, but I do think that I remember getting it from a Go Outdoors and it was about £40. For me, fortunately, I already had this laying around. It's good use. So this keeps everything I need in it. It keeps things dry and it keeps things cool. It doesn't make things cool though. What it can do is it protects things from getting warm. So if it's a warm day and the sun's shining on the van and the van's getting warm, what's in here will stay at an ambient temperature so it doesn't get too hot. So that means it's an ideal place for me to keep my gas bottles for the camping stove, because these aren't going to get hot in the sun and potentially explode. Let's have a look inside and see what I've got in here. So first of all, in here I've got some baby wipes. This is one of the bowls that I bought recently, and this is keeping things like sachets of salt, vinegar, tomato, mayonnaise. Dog food for the dogs. There are things like cups in here as well. That's a good place to keep them to stop them rolling around. Cooking oil's in there, and it's a spray one as well, and quite a small bottle, so it doesn't take up much room. Pot noodles. In here I've got bourbon biscuits and custard creams for when I'm fancying a snack or a treat. Washing up liquid and my scrubbing sponge. A selection of coffees. Tins of things. Now these are good because they'll last a long time. So there's some soups in here, vegetable chilli, soy sauce. Like I said before, I've got some camping gas in here for the cooker in case it runs out. I've got some dried pastas as well. These are really good because they last a long time, and all you need to do is add water to them and you've got a meal. Same as in this bag as well, some more noodles and some other bits. Some tomato soup sachets. Some breakfast bars. Porridge. And this is a spare bottle of water. This is my backup bottle of water. So as you can see, in here is just things that I need that I can get to quickly, and this whole box just says there's really good storage space with a twist because it's got thermal properties and it'll keep things cool. So this is really handy to use, but it's also got more purposes than just keeping things cool. So the other thing that this is good for is it's also a worktop. It's not the best, but I've certainly been able to use it for everything. And I don't have one yet, but I intend on getting a chopping board that will sit on here. If it's got some little rubber feet, it would be able to stay here and not slide around, and it'd be an even better work surface. So that's something else that it can be used for. The next thing it can be used for is a seat. It's quite comfortable. I do have to stoop a little bit. Maybe that's because my hair's quite big today though. But yeah, you can use this as a seat. You've got somewhere to sit if you don't want to sit on the floor. So yeah, if you just get in the van and you just want somewhere to sit, you've got a seat already. You don't need to put it out or do anything. You can just sit on here, and it's plenty strong enough to be used as a seat. It's also, the lid's quite soft and it's quite comfortable, to be honest. The plastic's quite spongy, which is nice. Then so the last thing that I use this for, and if you've seen my previous videos, you'll have seen me do this, is I use it as my cooker top. Now what I need to do when I do that is to remove things like this so these don't get hot and melt. But basically I take those away, and these bungees here hold this case in place. Alright, I take that out, I take the cooker out, and the cooker goes on here. I switch the gas on and light it. And then I can put pots, pans, kettle, whatever I want on there, and that cooks my food for me. And it's in a place where I can lay down and do it from laid in bed. It's an easy place to get to. And then it all just packs back away and slots back into these bungees here. And they hold it where it needs to do, where it needs to be. So the thing that these bungees do then is they hold all of this together. and also hold this cooker in place so it stops the whole thing sliding around inside the van. Those bungees make it really, really sturdy, and they just all link back into holes at the beginning and tie around each other. They're a little bit unsightly, but they do exactly what I need them to do and keep everything together. This never ever moves around. Okay then, so the next thing here is this electric cooler. So this actually makes things cold. It doesn't make them super cold, but it certainly keeps milk and things like that cold enough so that they'll keep for quite a while. There's not a great deal of space in here, but if you use it cleverly and you use it wisely, you can fit quite a lot in. It's also got cup holders at the front, and these obviously hold cups. Or for me, this is a place where I'll put my van keys on a night so that when I'm laid here I can get to them quickly and unlock the doors, because the lighting that I'll come on to showing you in a moment, that is controlled by the key fob primarily. So if I unlock the van, the lights come on. So inside here we have, and this is something really important for me, Gaviscon liquid, because I suffer with quite a bad heartburn, especially if I'm parked on an uneven surface. We have drinks that are kept cool, eggs when I get those from my mum, and food that I need to keep cool. And lastly, there's a tub of garlic mayonnaise in here as well. The fridge will keep all of this cool enough for me so that I can make things last, or get a nice cool drink when I need it. And it all fits quite snug in there. There's still space for other things if I needed to, because this lid is also hollowed out, so you can pile things up in here and then shut the lid. So this fridge unit is powered by a cable that plugs into the front. There's also a phone charger here, and it can switch between hot and cold, so this can keep things warm. Potentially if you had a takeaway, you could put it in there and keep it warm, or you can make it cold as well. This wire runs round the back and under the floor down here. It runs all the way around until we get to here, and here is a 12-volt socket. Now this, I believe, is standard to the van. It's not screwed down anymore, which is fine because I just took it down there. But what's really good about that 12-volt socket is that that will only be powered when the ignition is on. So I can leave this fridge plugged in the whole time and not worry about it draining the battery, because as soon as I switch the ignition off, there is no power to this refrigeration unit. So as soon as I turn that engine off, it's dead. There's no power going to it, and I don't have to worry about it flattening my battery. And then behind here, as I said, I've got some things as well. So I've got a dustpan, and I've lost my brush, so I need to get another brush. I've got a big canister of water. Now that's lasted me for, I filled that up when I did my first video, and I've only just had to fill that up again for this one. I don't use a lot of water, I'm quite conservative with it, so I don't need to fill this up very regular. And also I've got a bottle inside here that I've not had to use yet. I've got some spray cleaning wipes. In here is where I keep bungees and things like that, and there's also a tea towel in there. And this is a camping lantern that I got from Go Outdoors. I already had this. It's good because it's magnetic and it'll stick to things. And there's different brightness settings as well, so that you can have that very dim, or it's also very, very bright when you need it. But the good thing with that is it will stick anywhere that I want it to go. It was quite cheap. I think it was probably about £10 to £15 from Go Outdoors. But again, I already had that, so I didn't have to buy it. Then just around the back of here there is a small gap, so I'm making the most of the space here and the bungees that are already there. I've got a few screwdrivers that I might need, a drinks holder and an arse saver as well. This is really good. This just goes on the back of your mountain bike, clips under the saddle, and it keeps you back from getting sprayed wet and dirty in most cases. Then also right at the back, you've seen these before, these are my blinds. You don't necessarily need these, and when I got this van the windows were blacked out anyway, you couldn't see out or in. I upgraded them and got these blinds. They look nicer and you can see out the back when you want to. Those were £50 almost from a website called Vanex. So yeah, they're something that I really wanted, and they just make things brighter in here, and you can also see out on a day like today where the weather's a bit miserable. You want the door shut but you can still see out, so they were an absolute must for me. I have seen other people that have got magnetic sheets that go over and stick on here, and I imagine they'll be a lot cheaper. I don't know the price necessarily, but you know, you get the idea. You don't necessarily need those. So next up here we've got this, and this is what they call a bivvy table. Bivvy table is something that's used by fishermen, and this is something I bought to go camping with. It folds down, so this is how small it will go. You've got a table there that can go away wherever you need, but for me, fortunately, I've got holes on the van so that I can just hang that up and keep it out of the way, so it doesn't even take up space on the ground. But yeah, that's something good to have on a night if you want to put things on there. This isn't a must, so I'm not going to include this in the overall price at the end, but I think if you did want to know, I think I got this for about £16 on eBay, and it's something that I've used when I've been camping, wild camping and different things. It's a very handy thing to have. And when I'm not using it, it just slots into those holes and it doesn't move. It stays exactly where it needs to be. Okay, then lastly on this back end is this bag. Now, most people have got bags. I certainly had this lying around that I wasn't using, so I've put some things in here. Obviously you can see pots and pans, they're there, I can get to them easily. And something that I've been given really recently that I'll try out later, which is this, and it looks absolutely amazing. I can't wait to try this. I'll show you later. That just fits in there, and I keep things like knives and forks and cutlery in there because it's easy to get to, and it literally just hangs on these bungees here, and that's that. Okay, then lastly, this is something that's really important that you are going to need, and that is some form of a bed or a mattress to sleep on. Now I've got this, and this is just a very, very old-fashioned sleeping bag, and inside the sleeping bag is a very, very old-fashioned airbed. These airbeds are really old. I don't think you can get them new anymore, but they are probably the best airbed you can get. The material's soft, it's a warm airbed, it packs away really flat, but when you pump this up it's just really comfortable to sleep on. But the main thing with these is how thin they are. This isn't a wide airbed by any means, and it fits perfectly down the side here, and all I have to do is just inflate that on a night, and that's my bed set up. It fits perfectly in this gap. So it's a brilliant airbed for me, and it suits me perfectly. As I said, you can't buy these anymore. I certainly don't think you can anyway, but you can pick them up second hand. I got this given, so it didn't cost me anything, but my mum bought this on Facebook Marketplace or something like that, and I think it was a tenner. £10 is all you need for that. So that leads me on nicely then to what's going on here, and I have bungeed up a camping chair that has a table on. That was used in my last video because I put the cooker on the table at the side and cooked on the beach. I have an inflatable pillow. That was £3 from Tesco, and I bought that on the first night that I went camping. This is a double sleeping bag. It's nice and warm, but also it's really big. I had that given. And lastly, this sleeping bag here is one that I bought from Tesco the same night as the camping pillow, and I think that was £16. I didn't need that, but I will include it in the price so that you can see if you do need to buy a sleeping bag that's in there when I do the running total cost at the end. So in this van, because it's a British gas van, it was fitted already with a really good LED lighting system. These come on when I unlock the van, and they go off when I lock it also, but the doors need to be shut for that to go off. They're very, very bright, and there's 3 of them. There's one here, and there's one over each side door, but they're so good for lighting things up on a night. And also you've got the factory fitted light that you can switch on, and that gives a really nice soft glow on an evening for when you're sat watching TV relaxing. Okay then, so lastly, most vans like this have got a false floor behind driver and passenger seat, and that holds quite a lot of storage space that goes quite deep under the floor, and you can put things in there. On this side I've got a toolbox that holds pretty much every single tool that you'll need. It's got the jack and the wheel spanner so that you can take the wheels off, and I've got a bottle of glass cleaner under there as well as some tow ropes just in case I needed those. On the passenger side under there I've got the pop-up bowls and the pop-up washing up bowl, as well as the dog leads and some other things. Okay, so then in the cab's very simple, I don't have a lot. I've got a phone holder. Down here I've got a fire extinguisher that I can get really quickly if I need to. I always carry some extra water here so I can drink that or use it for cooking. At the top here I've got some thermal blinds, and they go over the windscreen. They give you privacy, and they also keep the heat in. A demisting cloth if the windows are misty. And up there I have a bottle. I'm not going to tell you what that bottle's for, I'm sure you can guess. Okay, so that was a quick tour of the van and everything that I've got in it, and that literally is everything you need as a minimum. I would suggest you need all those things. You need a bed, you need some storage, so it could just be a big Tupperware box, but you know, if it's a cooler, that's better for you because it's going to keep your things relatively cool, certainly cooler than they would be if they were just left in the back of a van in the sun. A mini fridge, that also I would say is quite important, because if you're wanting to keep things like milk, or you're wanting to keep things that are cool, that's about as cheaply as you can do it, and that is enough to do the job of keeping milk and things cool. So I'll give you a rundown now of everything and how much it cost me and how much it's going to cost you. So the cooler was £0 for me. I already had that knocking around, and I reckon that I think I paid a long time ago about £40 for that from Go Outdoors, so that's £40 for you. The stove cost me nothing, and I know for a fact that you can get those fairly cheap on the internet or from camping stores such as Go Outdoors for about £12, and sometimes you can even get free gas in that as well as like a deal. The fridge cost me nothing because I've had that a very long time as well, and I think I got that from Halfords, and that was probably about £40 as well, so that's £40 for you. The sleeping bag didn't cost me anything, I had that given, but the person who bought it for £10, so that's £10 for you, and that is probably about as cheap as you can get an airbed for. And I would recommend that style of airbed if you're going to get one, because it's much better than some of the other ones that are probably more expensive, the new ones. They're not as good as the old-fashioned ones. So the pans, I think on the first ever episode I did about those pans, and I think the saucepan was £4, and I think the frying pan was £6. That's £10 for pans. But 10 out of 10 people surely are going to have frying pans that they can just pack if they need. You're not going to need to buy them. It's only me that went and bought them, so I can keep them in the van all the time, so I'm not having to cart things in and out. So in total, if you wanted everything that's in there and you needed to buy everything to be able to do that as a minimum, I've calculated that you'd probably need to spend about £130 or £132 is exactly how I've worked it out, for you to be able to have everything that you need that I've got in the back of there, to be able to go and have a weekend away in your van. If you've already got a van, you know, you need to add the price of that as well, because if you spent £2 on a van, you know, it's £2,132 if you want to be really particular. For me though, not including the price of the van, because I had most of it already, I've only had to spend £23 to get everything that I've got the way it is. It's cost me nothing to be able to kit that out because I've had so much of it from before. The reason I have some of that already is because I've had vans in the past. I also had a 4x4 pickup truck, and that had a tent on the roof. So I already had things knocking around anyway that I was just able to keep in storage, which I did, and I pulled it all back out and chucked it all in back at a van, and I'm good to go. So that's, you know, that's that for the walk around and for the tour of the inside of the van. Now I'm going to be setting off, and I'm going to good old Skeg Vegas, where I'm going to be meeting my brother, his fiance, my sister-in-law, and my nephew, and some of their family as well. So that's going to be a good night tonight. So I need to set off and get there. Okay, so Skegness. It's 2 hours and 13 minutes away, and as you can see as I zoom out, it's on the east coast. So a little bit of driving to do for me, but you know, it shouldn't take too long to get there. So there you go, you probably can only just see that neon pole, but there's Coral Beach, no, what it's called? I'm not sure what it's called anymore, but it's basically Ingamel's version of Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Not sure. Lost interest at this point, I just want to get there. Right, so I'm here now. I've been to see my brother, and he's in a static caravan that's literally just there. There's another static caravan here, so I'm talking a little bit quietly because it is now 2:10 in the morning. I've had a few drinks with them, and now I'm ready for my tea, but I can't be bothered making anything major, so I'm going to make a pot noodle, which is actually really good because I've been I've got breathing difficulties. Yeah, so I've been given something that I think is absolutely amazing, and is this. And in the spirit of everything pop-up, which recently everything I seem to have bought is pop-up, I've been given this, a pop-up kettle. It's absolutely amazing. So it's a brand called Wow Kettle, I think it's called Wow Kettle. And it's a stainless steel bottom, but then it's a silicone top and the handle's plastic, but even the top lid is silicone. But watch this. And that is a pop-up kettle right there. It's brilliant, that, isn't it? So this is what I'm going to use tonight. I'm going to give it a rinse out. Oh, it's got like a little lock for the... Look at that, that's absolutely genius. I'm going to give it a quick rinse out. There you go, that's how you... So I'm going to give this a rinse out, and then I'm going to get the cooker out. I'm going to warm up some water for my pot noodle. There we go. And don't forget when you make a pot noodle to close the foil back down, keep that heating. So yeah, pot noodles are just a really handy thing to be able to keep because they last for years. They're light, they don't take up much room, and when you want, all you have to do is boil some water, pour it in, and you're done. It's a meal for you. So they're a really handy thing to just keep a couple of in your storage tubs or cooler, whatever it is. So yeah, I really rate this thing as well. It's brilliant. Dead impressed with that, and I got it given as well. I just want to say thank you to Dean Hargreaves for giving me this. Dean's a fisherman, so he's got loads of cool gadgets like this, and I think he had this lying around and he weren't really using it, and he's giving it to me because he's seen my pop-up obsession. So thanks for that, Dean. Right, so I'm going to rate this now, and then I'm going to get my head down because now it's 3:15, and I'm going to try and get up in the morning and go with my brother-in-law for breakfast, and then we're going to go to the market that's on Fantasy Island, which is, I've learned what the theme park's called. So that's called Fantasy Island, and I'm going there tomorrow. They usually have a really good market selling stuff. Oh, just one more thing as well. I'm going to be using this tonight on its own. It's probably the warmest night I've had in the van since I've been doing this for the last 5 weeks. I think I'll get away with just using this tonight. So this is the one I got from Tesco for £16. So I'll get wrapped up in this tonight, and I'll let you know if it was warm enough in the morning or not. So I'll eat this, go to sleep, and I will see you in the morning. Good night. So I'm up now, obviously. I need to get a move on because I'm going to go meet my brother. There's a cafe at the end. We've all got sandwiches, so I'm going to go down there, get a sandwich, and then we're going to walk onto the market. So I better get a move on because they're there now. Ugh. See ya. Not sure if they're the beach cleaner things or not, that go and like comb the beach, clean it all for everyone. quarries or something, I'm not sure why. There's a bulldozer in the distance as well, doing some digging. Seems to be a lot going on at the moment. Even more down here doing the same. What is it, Tia? Come on. Doobie! Sack! Oi! Are you catching a ride? Hello, monkey. Have you got a good perch there? Where is he? Where's Zach? He's down there. Look, you see his head.
Is he catching a ride?
I've had a really good overnighter in Skegness. Met with my brother last night, had a few drinks. Good night in the van. Dead impressed with that new kettle. And I'm gonna see, just for next week I think, I'm gonna see if I can get anything that's popped up, just for why not. I've had a good day today at Fantasy Island. Dogs have had a nice walk. On my way back home, meeting a friend tonight to play guitar with, and then work tomorrow for me. That's my days off and my weekend done. So I'll see you in a different location next week on Dean's Destination. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The channel seems to be taking off. Instagram's doing well, Facebook's doing well. I want to keep this momentum going, so please help me and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Oh,